then you can, of course, when you grind, you can use everything. Meat, dairy, moldy bread, pre-consumer, post-consumer, with no worry about there being any so-called vermin, and I hate that term anyway because it denigrates God's creation. But no flies getting interested, no roaches, no rodents, no feral cats or dogs. They're all going to turn their nose. No raccoons. We even think it'll stop human-wildlife conflict. So I think the bears would be interested in it. So I think if you have these at campsites, the bears would be like, I'm leaving this. I'm not going to come around. And then the bears would be shot for marauding people. And at this time, with so many wildlife species on the verge of extinction, imagine that we could make a big difference. Because a lot of people say, even in the urban environment and the rural and wild, they'll say, you can't have food waste gathering here. You can't do composting. It's going to attract vermin. And so we don't want that to happen. All right, that looks good. All right, so now so before we put this on, we do need to put on the overtube, you said. There's that little plate. No, it's not that one. You got it. It does, by the way, it comes with extra lugs. If nothing went wrong with these lugs, they come with big extras. Okay. So know that. And we are going to put this. There should be two of these, right? Okay. So you slip this on up like so, and then you put this plate, which doesn't seem to have a slide, we'll do it this way. You put that on like that. There's your gasket, and then this plugs into here. And all we need to do now is to, oh, it's a flathead. Let's see. So we should have said to you to start out having a Phillips and a flathead. And then I need to have fingers that are dexterous enough to get this started. So while we're doing this, maybe you can tell whoever might be watching and is interested how much this whole setup cost.
The whole setup, and we definitely purchased a lot of backup materials because, you know, I don't think you might have this at home, but together, including the warrant, an additional 2-year warranty for replacement, is $500. So $500, and I think we had just maybe one small item that we bought for backup.
Yeah.
Also, we did not need to buy this item because the extender was already in the package. So these are two items that we didn't necessarily need to buy. So it would be for less than $500, you can get this going right now. You know. But
And the warranty was $45 of that entire charge for the 2-year. Compensated if you're an NGO or a nonprofit, and if you get tax exempt, the tax itself was about $35, so you're able to afford the warranty. These are pretty robust machines, particularly the Evolution series. They are stainless steel. They've lasted for decades in places, but it's always good if you have the public coming and using it, or if you're doing a lot of grinding, you're going to have a situation where it might get the motor overburdened before it's due, and so having that warranty gives you more confidence for your operation. I guess that's it. Feels like I'll do one more. Can't seem to think that would be any tighter than that. Yep. Okay. And one good reason to have two of these is because you want to, if you're going to take this in the field and you're going to be doing shows and events, you want to have one that you always bring with it. If it jams, it will overheat. And as soon as it overheats, it's, oh, where's their thermal switch on this one? We don't have a thermal switch on this one. That's interesting, because usually there's a little thermal switch that pops, so I'm going to have to investigate that. Because you put this thing in and you unjam it, and then you make it run again. So I've got to ask, like, what do they do instead of the thermal switch? Maybe it's an internal that resets itself. This is the most advanced electronics. Okay, so putting it on, it's pretty hard to put it on right side up. And that's what you're going to have to do in sinking. But the thing to notice is that these things are curved up, and this thing has something for your screwdriver in so you can twist it, and then it has a little grip, like a little plate there. And when we put it on, we try to get that grip, and if you come over here, you'll see it better. I gotta turn it actually over this way. There. You see now how if I turn this down, that little grip is going to slide on that plate. Then I need my screwdriver. You put it in here and you go, okay, turn until it's gone on that sloped flange. Now it's all the way there. If you wanted to take it off, likewise, you go like that and see how it rides up. Like look over here. You see how this is curved upward?
Yes.
That little clip there that I'm touching is what's clamping down when you put it that way. So off would be like that, and then on would be, make sure it lines up like this until it slides down, and you'll have to use the screwdriver to get the rest of the way, like that, and then you're on. Yep. And I wouldn't carry it using the handle. You can, in a pinch, you can go like this, like when you're moving it,
Right.
but it could tear your bucket at some point.
I could see that.
Right. So you want to hold it like this as you carry it, and then turn the other bucket upside down if you don't mind. Okay. This is how, when we go to a festival, we will go like this.
Oh.
And then we'll get another bucket.
Third bucket.
Right, if you get a third bucket, we can show that. Yes, and then you got that. But that one is, huh.
Yep.
It won't fit. Oh, wait. No, it's not. It's they sell this for people who are undoing it in a sink, where the plumber will take this out to put with a dishwasher, and this goes out when the plumber makes this. So this is made to go this way, so it's good we got that.
Oh, yep, we ready.
Good to know. This is not for extension down. This is for a vertical plumbing situation. This is our horizontal plumbing situation. So for the verts, we would go.
Do you need any of these rubbers?
I think I'm going to need this. What we're going to do is we are going to, yes, I will need this one here. That's just an extra. So I would put this up, put this down.
They also have this.
Ah, yes, thank you. So that one goes in here. And then this is supposed to go on top of it. And then this goes down it. Oh, it didn't work.
So wait, see?
Let's take this thing. I'll take this, I'm going to do this. I'm going to put this on. I'm going to put this on. I'm going to put that on. And we're going to see if we get a bite from this. It's a little tight.
I'm actually gonna go get, some material, the stuff that was just dropped off,
Mm-hmm.
and we're gonna do it.
Yeah, that would be great. All right, so we
Alright.
got this. Let's get that other bucket too.
Yep.
We can pause work.
Yes, okay, just making sure.
Yeah. 'Cause it's kind of hard to go down there.
That's what I want to do.
Try to get down there, so that's where the water's coming up. You probably put too much in at the beginning. It's not. Yeah, this is fibrous. Pour some water in there. More water. safely put my hand like this, but no deeper. I'll keep my fingers like that if I'm ever using it, but I have the ability to get down that far. But do not plunge your hand down, ever. So your palm has to be there, and your fingers can only be bent like that.
That's what I was looking at.
Yeah. No more water? Got an idea? Because we did this in Palestine and other Arab countries, in Jordan, in places. If you don't have much water, then you would pour it back in. You recycle and use gray water as well if you got gray water.
Okay.
This is all adding to the nutrition of ultimate compost. Okay, go ahead and turn it on.
So good. So now I know I will have. I'm gonna tell you start. It's important to note that without any pre-prepping, because we didn't, we decided to just do it.
Totally spontaneous.
Driving to the store, getting everything we needed and setting it up was around an hour or less of time, which is incredible for us to already be at this point. And this point, which is what we were looking to get to, which will improve the speed of our compost and soil creation drastically. So we're excited
Let's
about
go
this.
and see. We could go back to your compost area, or we could just take any area around here. It's literally that easy.
Exactly. And that's what I would love to have this just go into blueberries, which is right over here.
Where's that?
Right over here. So you have these 4 blueberries right here.
Oh, back here.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
So that would be phenomenal to give it directly to. And so
this is what they call fertigation,
yep,
fertility irrigation.
Yep. So composting at the root of the plant. But I mean, look at this.
If anybody objects to the look of it, you just cover it with a bit of mulch.
Yep, and the mulch is already here.
Right. It's a good technique for people to be convinced to sit and watch it, so that you see that there's no flies, so that you see that there's no odor, so you see there's no rats. I don't know, because it's on mulch, how quickly it's going to degrade, because when we put it on soil, it's 3 to 6 days, because the soil microbes inoculate it. We would usually take a little handful of active soil and just drop it there to let the microbes start to spread.
Right.
This could sit here for weeks, but it'll just dry and cake, and by the end of the week, it's going to be ground, but it's not going to be soil. So soil is the miracle that will start digesting this.
Okay.
Otherwise, just sit and watch it and see what it does.
We can even we'll do 2 where we add the additional finished compost in it, and then we'll do 2 where we don't, and see the difference between.
Do we have a handful of soil we can put on too?
Let's see. Actually, we do. But you guys probably have leftovers in the greenhouse. So.
Now, one of the beauties is that the nano world of microbes has been waiting for ground up food waste, usually because animals use their teeth, their molars, they use their jaws to grind stuff up. When you put stuff in the compost that hasn't been ground up, then they have to rely on the fungi, and they have to rely on the insect mandibles, and they have to rely on the worms, all to break it down so the microbes can finally turn it into soil. Whereas here, you've used mechanical jaws in the Insinkerator food grinder, and then when you add, as you've done here, a little bit of worm castings, those microbes are immediately going to start eating. And that's how you're going to get your compost in 3 to 6 days, depending on the temperature and the activity of these, particularly if it's still nice and moist, because they're going to have plenty of stuff that they can eat and digest, which makes this the superior method of composting for getting rapid decomposition. You're investing a little bit of energy, usually about 60 watts, because you're only running the grinder for about 5 minutes or so. So you're using about 60 watts of power, but then you're getting accelerated decomposition, and then it's feeding the microbes that are then feeding the plant.